me, but I'll give it my best shot. The rule in Culver City for an employee was that, up until recently, I believe, if you worked for the city of Culver City for 5 years and you left, you had lifetime medical benefits. And that was done at a time when medical insurance was not so expensive. But we've kept that on for a long period of time. It's kind of led to absurd results, and one of those results relates to you, Mr. Nelson. There's been a few questions asking that since you have fulfilled all but 3 months of your last 2-year term, how do you justify running for a 3rd term, thereby, in this person's opinion, violating the spirit of Culver City's 2-term limit law? And I guess secondly, and here I'm going to suggest to the other candidates, there's no obligation to use your full minute, but what changes should be made, if any, to not encourage that kind of changes in order to take advantage of opportunities for your family protection?
Yes, I would be, if I'm fortunate to be elected, I will second your motion to remove, if I can't first it, I'll second it, to remove the council from the executive management group. The good thing I can offer to you, I'll do my fair part. I have insurance already with my employer, with the City of Los Angeles. And if I'm no longer working for the City of Los Angeles, I qualify for a military retirement with health care benefits. So I will cost the city 0 money.
This question is, it states that 60% of the Culver City voters who voted in Proposition 18 were in favor of legalizing the dispensation of medicinal marijuana. And did you know there is a city licensed medical marijuana clinic in Culver City, and that the city is collecting revenues from this collective, at the same time preventing this licensed marijuana collective from opening and offering service in Culver City? What is your stand on medical marijuana clinics in the within the boundaries of Culver City?
Well, having worked for the City of Los Angeles, I've seen firsthand the debacle that was created over the medical marijuana situation in Los Angeles. In fact, at one time there were more medical marijuana stores in the City of Los Angeles than there were McDonald's and Starbucks combined. Again, the fact that we're only 5 square miles, the fact that we can use our zoning laws and ordinances and prohibitions about where you can locate these stores in relationship to schools, I think will more or less preclude a lot of the area of Culver City where it would go. But basically, I want to keep Culver City as the heart of Screenland, not the heart of cannabis.
What is your vision for the area around the new expo station? Mr. Clarke.
Well, there's 2 problems that we have. One is the fact that the expo will get to Culver City before the development gets there. So when people come to Culver City on expo, it's going to be more or less an empty lot for a while. The other problem that we have is that we're a terminus for phase 1, which means anybody from the west side or the valley or South Bay that wants to go to downtown is going to drive to Culver City, try to find a place to park so they can get on the expo to go downtown. So we have to make sure that we are dealing with that issue as well with respect to parking. But I believe, too, that we have a lot of good activities, again, things that I want to talk about in my closing, to bring people to Culver City. So I want to piggyback on what Megan was saying about the idea of having a way to get people around, going after getting these dash bus shuttles so that people can go from the expo station to Hayden Track, or they can go to downtown to the restaurants, or even more out to the west side, some of the museums that are going to be going there. Having pedicabs to be able to take people around is a good way to do it. Having the bike sharing, they have that in Washington, D.C. around all the metro stations. So you get off the metro and you can go ahead and rent a bike and you can ride your bike around, and then you bring it back and put it in the stand. So those are the things that we're going to have to do. So we need to be thinking of things to have in place while we're waiting for this great development to occur, so that people don't feel like they're in no man's land.
and it's twofold. One is, one person asked if there's any thought about making our city and parks more dog-friendly by allowing dogs to be on there on a leash, and how would you stand on that? And the other relates to the Crest itself, because those of us who have lived there or driven up there thought maybe a medical marijuana dispensary had been opened. It turned out we have a skunk problem. And so one of the persons asked Culver City's Animal Services Officer and the use of the SPCA LA shelters provided a very successful service to Culver City residents. If you're elected, will you vote to have the Culver City Animal Services Officer become a permanent full-time position? And will you vote to make the SPCA LA shelter the permanent Culver City shelter? So where do you stand on dog walking and animal shelter?
Continuing that position, if you've ever had the opportunity to go to Corolla's website and see how much enthusiasm that she has, how much she loves animals, whatever, I think it's a real value that's added to the city. The services that were provided to the county were in fact dreadful. I'm glad that we made the switch to the SPCA. My only concern is that we use the county as a backup when the SPCA isn't there. I'd like to see if we can explore some other options that might be a little bit better than that. I did have the opportunity to walk up in the Crest, and I got several homeowners that told me about the skunk problem. So I know it is a particular problem up there. I think it may actually be coming from Holy Cross Cemetery, where the skunks are living there and then running down the street. But people were telling me how they were just going ahead and spraying their dogs and chasing their cats and very aggressive and like they owned the place. So it's something that we need, and I think maybe our animal control officer would be able to help there. And I know too the police department is very accepting. I had a chance to talk with the head of the POA, and they very much like Corolla and think that she's an asset to the department as well too. So I think it's a good win-win situation.
All right. Since 2003, when the first EIR was issued for the ongoing construction projects at West LA College, numerous residents of Culver Crest and Raintree have worked together on almost a weekly basis to reduce the adverse impacts the college is having on our neighborhoods. Are you aware of the community concerns about the college? And what is your opinion of the college's recent repudiation of the memorandum of understanding that it signed with Culver Crest and Raintree in 2004?
Yes,
As somebody who lives in Raintree, I'm both familiar not only with the issue pertaining to the college, but also the issue pertaining to PXP. So we've been very active in both of those kinds of things. I haven't taken a leadership position in it, but I am in fact aware of those. And I guess the only thing that I would say is sort of what Andy has said as well too. I've had an opportunity to talk to the new president of the college, and I think we have an opening at least to be able to, with a new council and a new administration there, to really sit down and try to see if we can sort of let bygones be bygones and get back to it and figure out if we can work something out that works well for all of us and that they can keep their agreements to us. You know, I don't know if that's going to be the case. It's more than just one person, but it is good that there is a change. I think that the previous administration that was there was in fact very hostile to Culver City. It really didn't feel like they owed anything to Culver City. So hopefully we'll see a positive change. Thank you, Culver Crest. You know, when Harry Culver created Culver City nearly 100 years ago, he wanted a great place for families to live, but he also realized he needed to have businesses here to serve those families and to create work opportunities. So he found Thomas Inch down on Viona Creek filming a movie and decided, that's a good idea for a business. Convinced him to open a studio. That led to 2 other studios being created here, and suddenly we became part of Screenland, our motto. That was Harry Culver's vision, and he made it happen. 100 years later now, we need to create what is our vision for the future for Culver City. What is it we want to do? I've got 3 ideas that I want to share with you of things that I was talking about earlier about vision. First of all, we have Indicate every year that we do. It's great. It's exposure for the video gaming industry. It gets worldwide attention. Let's take the next step and make Culver City the heart for the new creative things that are going on, just like the movies were back when Harry Culver started doing. Let's bring those companies here with high-paying jobs, with young people, with low polluting kinds of industries that will not only serve here, but will also go and use our restaurants and our nightlife and help support those industries. So that's one idea. We need to. But I'd like to hear what you want to have for the vision for it. Another idea is that I'd like to create something that I'm calling Culver City Proud. The idea that we invest within Culver City. We support the arts. We are a very well-to-do and pretty affluent area here, and we can support those by having people make contributions to support those things that are going on in Culver City. I'm as guilty as anybody else. I'm a seasoned subscriber to the Mark Taper and the Amundsen downtown. Haven't been a subscriber to the Kirk Douglas. I need to change that. I need to invest in Culver City, and we need to encourage people to do that. So the idea is that people go and make contributions to the Cultural Affairs Foundation, which is kind of more of an organization, and get a tax write-off. You put projects, you nominate projects, you put it on a website, you let people vote and donate for them, and those things that get the most amount of money are able to get additional funding for it. And the last thing I want us to do is I want us to create a creative corridor with the Vending Museum and the Armory, with the Mamie Clayton Library on Overland, with the Historical Society, and with Sony, that we can have something that will bring people, not only when they get off the expo, that we can take them to see our museums, and while they're here, they can go and eat at our restaurants and spend some money. That's what I see that we need to be doing in Culver City. And I appreciate the opportunity to speak to you. Thank you very much, and please take some of my literature.